Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. And before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are all well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. Into the weekend, Saturday. I was meant to do this debate show stream later this evening. I usually tend to revert from doing streams at this time, but I'm going to be out tonight, and I thought if I don't do it now, I won't be able to do it tomorrow or next day. I've actually lost my laptop. My laptop's broken. I'm actually doing it off another laptop. So fingers crossed it works and doesn't bug out or something while we're streaming. But we are here to do the debate show. A lot of people saying it's back. Yes, it is back. We are going to be talking about the Chelsea team. Now the transfer window's out of the way. We know what our players are, who our players are that we're going into 21 to 22 season. And we're going to debate our best front three. We're going to be debating not only one front three option, we're going to do three different front three options. And some of us haven't got certain individuals playing in it. And we're going to obviously debate that. We will open up the lines later for you guys as well. Get involved. I want to know your best front three as well. But in the meantime, I've got Will with me and I've got Dan with me. How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Doing great, actually.
Good to hear. Dan, what's the time where you are, mate?
It is 7 a.m.
That is commitment. You see that?
Yes, I have been up since 4.
Why have you been up so early, mate? Do you not sleep? What's going on?
I've had the same rhythm since I was like 10. Like my dad drilled it into me. He's a military guy, so I've been always up at 4. So I just designed my schedule around being up early.
Wow, fair enough. Routine. That's what you call routine, eh? Proper.
Yes, sir.
Let's go through some of the chats. Concierge of Crime, big up to Mrs. Chelsea fans and debates. Name a more dynamic duo. Exactly. Big up German people in the comments. Big up to DJ Savjay. Fator's in the comment as well. Says, "Oh good lord, this is gonna get heated." I thought it's crusty debate. No, we're saving that debate for later on, mate. Don't worry about that. Nice topic. Big up to you, RCBN. Big up to Declared. Big bombs in the house. Couch critics here for the debate. Guys, I'm going to get you in though, yeah? Couch, Declared, all you guys can come in soon. We're just going to go through it ourselves quickly, let you guys talk about it, about our points of view. Disagree or agree with us, do whatever you want. You want to throw some questions in, do that. But make sure we smash that like button, guys. Hit that like button for GNA TV. And I'm going to take that with you. That's all right. Make sure that you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, guys, and make sure you follow us. We're on the road to 3K subscribers, and there's 25 of you here already. Andrew, how are you doing, my man?
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be a nice, calm debate. The front three, as always, in the Chelsea community.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nice, calm 15-minute video, and then we're out, right? I'm sure it's just going to be...
You did Andrew dirty then. You did him dirty.
What an entrance.
I didn't see it. But, right, yeah. Big Catch Critic says, what an entrance. Definitely, what an entrance. Big up to Daniel, the Mount sexual will the Chiesa hater. Will the Chiesa hater? Is he? I know Dan is a bit of a Mount sexual, and we will be talking about Mason Mount.
I like ballers, man. What do you want from me?
Right, Witness Server, because you're coming to it a bit late. We're gonna we're going to be talking about the our preferred front three, but we're not only doing one preferred front three, we're doing 3 preferred front three. Because in my 3, there's some players that don't get in any of these, which is where the debate's going to come from and probably get a bit heated. People in the chat are going to get pissed off, whatever. Yeah, let's just do it. So I'm going to start it, and I'm going to give you my first preferred front three. Let's all do one each. We'll go through them like one by one, if that makes sense. Yeah. So for me, my first front three would always be Havertz, Mount, and Lukaku. That would be my first front three. Reason for it, I just think a lot of people question mark Havertz and Mount being able to play together, not having enough pace, not having enough creativity. I think they've proved a lot of people wrong. Lukaku now coming in being a focal point allows the Havertz's and Mounts to make them runs off a lot more and get more, and run into them pockets and be more involved in the game. But I think what we need more from a Mount, and maybe even a Havertz, but I don't worry about Havertz as much with this, is that I feel like we need more goals from them. Even though we have Romelu Lukaku leading the line that's been brought in to score the goals, I think it's still important that whoever's playing behind him can help contribute. And if this is going to be our main front three, which might be, we don't know yet. If this is going to be our main front three, then you would want to think that at least these guys can contribute, not to the same level as Lukaku, but at least get their goals in there. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, guys?
I personally agree with you as my preferred front three. That would be mine as well. Yeah. First
front three. What about you, Dan? You got a different first front three?
No, I think that's the perfect three for me currently. Lukaku's in there to score the goals and lead the line. Havertz is a ghost. He's in there mainly to create space, to score goals, to create in general. And Mount is the most versatile piece that we actually have. Allows us to change formation during games, allows us to be effective on the defensive and the attacking end, and allows us to press from the front. So for me, that's the perfect three.
Surfer, agree or disagree with the first front three?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the preferred front three. I've no issue with that front three. It's going to be a very hard-working front three. The consensus we're probably all going to have is Lukaku's going to be up top. It's just I don't think I think that's the easiest thing we can agree on.
Yep.
I think it is going to be in the big games. I think it is going to be that front three in the biggest games. But then I hope he's able to rotate in the smaller games. But I have no issue in that. They've just got to get better in linking up and decision making. That's all. They've just got to be better with that.
Yeah, and do you not agree, even though we're all quite comfortable already in agreeing on this, but do you not feel like we do need more from them in terms of goals and assists, especially when you look at last year? I know this is where Dan will get a bit defensive. We've had this conversation before, but Mason Mount was supposedly our best player, but he'd only scored how many goals and assisted how many? Like, we wasn't really nowhere near any double digits figures, do you know what I mean? And I'd expect more from them. At least expect more from them, especially going into this season. Do we agree that we need more from them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to break. I think last season our total goals was 56.
Yes, it was since
for
15,
title
16. Yeah.
For title winning seasons for us. We have to be in the 70s, 80s. So that front three for me needs to provide at least 65. However, it's distributed. If it happens that it's Lukaku scoring freaking 30 goals in the Premier League, great. Then the rest just have to split, the rest of the goals in between them. But if not, I mean, that's the level we need to get to. At least 60 goals from that front three, so the rest of the goals, and then the rest of them can chip in here and there. But to win the Premier League, we need to hit that 70 goal mark, that 70, 80 goal mark.
Yeah. The thing I would say about this front three, I think we need a little bit. I mean, Mount obviously created a lot of chances last year. I think he was 7th in the league for big chances created, Andrew. Is that right? I think you said the other day.
Yeah, 7th big chances. Always look at big chances, not chances.
So if Mount can get a couple more goals and a few more assists and Havertz scores more, with Lukaku obviously putting up good numbers as well, I think we'll be fine. I'd rather get more assists from Mount, though, and more goals from Havertz. I really think Havertz needs to kick on this year, and I'm sure he will. He's a great player.
I just think it's not unreasonable to ask for double figures in the league, and I'm not for both of them, and I'm not talking like 20. I'm talking like, for Mount, I'm talking anywhere from like 10 to 12 league goals. I think he can do that. I don't see why it's not hard to ask him. And Havertz probably be the one that I'm asking to probably get 15 or more, because he can do that. He's more attacking.
Let me say this. This is where it all depends on if we want to put players or the team in the best position to be good. You know what I mean? Because we know Mount's finishing is he hits the ball well, but it's erratic, right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Even though Havertz finishing, sometimes he kicks the ball straight to the goalkeeper. The way he finishes is a lot more assured. The way Lukaku finishes is a lot more assured, right? So for me, I want the ball in players. Like, I was yelling the last couple of games when players were looking, or when Mount and Havertz were looking for each other and not trying to find Lukaku, who was in a better place.
Yeah.
I'm like, find the player who's used to finishing. Find the player who's more like, don't get me wrong. If Mount just keeps shooting this year, he's gonna get better at finishing. But do we have time for him to get better in like right now, or can we wait for it to take years? Just focus on getting the ball to the players who are more adept at finishing, because that's better for our team than just shooting every chance that you get.
That's true. Well, I understand.
My expectations are on output. I think I'm expecting Havertz to obviously increase his output more than Mount, though, just because I feel like Mount gives us more off the ball, if you get what I mean. Obviously, Mount still needs to get more goals, more assists, and I think he will. He's young. He's going to develop.
Yeah,
but I think we need to see something big from Havertz this year. I'm not saying if he struggles. I'm not saying like put him out of the team or whatever if he doesn't play well in the next few games, whatever. Nothing like that. But he obviously still needs time as he's young. But we also need goals. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, this is the thing, and obviously C1 London, big up to him, said Mount can get double figures assists, but not goals. So he feels like Mason Mount cannot get double-digit goals. It's just not in his nature.
I think he can. No, I think he can because he's not going to be asked to do that defensive drop deep role in all the games. He's not going to be able to do that. It's just the biggest games, and I think it's either he gets better at shooting or he gets better at decision making. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what he has to get better at for either the assist or goals to increase. So he needs to do that, and he's not, like I said, he's not going to be asked to drop deep like he was against Liverpool or anything like that. It's only going to be a few games a season.
Most games are going to be like the Crystal Palace Arsenal game. That's how it's going to be. You know what I mean? It's not going to be us, having to work incredibly hard in the midfield to cover the other team.
Exactly.
So that's why. And again, what Winter Surfer brought up earlier, Mount was number 7 in big chances.
Yeah.
And he was one goal. He was one goal off number 4. Like he had 13. Yeah. Number 4 had 14 chances. If he increases that this season, make that like 16 big chances. That gets you at least 10 assists with a striker like Lukaku in there, right? So then we just, and this is why I'm excited to see how he develops his game, how Havertz does, and how Lukaku does. But for them to do that, they have to play together a lot more. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't get chemistry. I think we're confused about City because City does it where they switch players out a whole lot, but their players are already there. They're experienced players. So they can be on the bench for 3-4 games and come in without playing and still be good. For young players, it's more difficult.
Yeah, I do hear that. Guys, we've got over 50 viewers here right now. Please smash the like button, guys. Let's try and get to 50 likes. We can easily do that. We're only on 23 likes at the moment. So let's try and push. Let's close the gap to 50, guys. Let's do that. And I agree with what Winter Surfer's saying. Agree with what Dan's saying as well. Declared says Mount has a freedom role and and plays deeper than Havertz. However, whoever / Lukaku, I expect him to get more assists than goals. So some people saying he can. Some people saying he can score them, but a lot of viewers are saying that they think the reason he won't do it is because he will be playing a lot more deeper than the Havertz's and Lukaku's, who will be in the box more often than what Mason Mount will.
I agree in the big games. James. Just look at his performance against Arsenal. He was like freedom. He was all over the attacking side. He was on both wings in the middle. I think that we're going to see more of that this season than the Liverpool one, where it's more of a disciplined performance. So,
can I pose a question to all of you? Yeah. For me, I honestly think as a team we play better, and even Mount plays better when he plays on that right hand side. I feel like when he has less time to think, I feel like he makes the better decision. He doesn't overthink it, if you get what I mean. I think it's when he's on the left and he has more time to dwell on the ball. I think that's when sometimes his decision making can be a bit off. And also, as we want Reece to get forward, as we want his output to go up, we want him to be more creative. I feel like Mount can cover for Reece as well at times, and he can link up with him nicely. So I personally prefer Mount on the right with Havertz on the left, because I think Havertz's weak foot is fine. I think he's comfortable on both feet, and I think he'll link up with Alonso or Chilwell well as well.
I think that's where they both played against Arsenal, right? Like Havertz was off the left, Mount was off the right, and I think there's a because of the way football has gone now, there's a common assumption that if a player is cutting into their right foot, it's better for them. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes players are better just off whatever their stronger foot is, so they can make decisions just smoothly, right? And I agree with Will. He does look a lot better combining off that right side where he can get crosses in, because he is one of our best crossers. Him and Reese, when he's getting crosses in off that right side. So it's just about finding the balance, the flow of the game and the balance in the team. And I think that just takes time. That takes time with them playing together for 10 games or 8 games. But they're always going to be good. But the perfect instinctual, knowing where Lukaku is every time, knowing Havertz is where he's making runs, and vice versa, that takes time.
Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that, guys. Let's move on, because I want to move on to our my proposed second.
Okay, let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I'm going to remove this guy. And I'm going to put in Timo Werner. And the reason, some people may say they've given up on this guy, and I get that. I understand it. But something excites me about seeing Werner have Lukaku. I don't know why. And I just got this feeling that it will fall down to Timo Werner and how he performs. If he can, in many ways, I feel like with him, when I look at him last season, it was more of a mental block more than anything, because he was getting himself in the right positions here and there. He was just not finishing. He was our top assister last season as well. But I just got a feeling that Werner running off Lukaku and Havertz as well is, especially against the teams that play higher lines, could really be devastating. And I actually think that you might, maybe, I'm not saying it could be, I think there might be an opportunity for Lukaku and Werner to actually build something up in terms of a relationship up front together as well. And I don't know what you guys think, because I know a lot of people think Timo Werner's done, it's not working, and this, that, and the other. But I am quite interested to see this. And I do think you'll see, whether if it's these three or not, I think you will see these two playing together at some point this season. What are your thoughts on my proposed front three, guys? Do you understand it, or
I understand it, and I'm going to be very quick because I know Daniel has got a lot to say. So I'm going to be very quick. I would like to. That's all I say. I would like to see it, and like to see if it works and if it has any positive effect on Werner's game. I think we will see it. I think we were going to see it on Saturday against Liverpool if we didn't have the red card. It'll be interesting to see that Werner. Werner. Some people don't realise that Werner last season still got into positions, but he didn't finish properly. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't as if he was starved of service or options or anything like that. He still has to finish properly. So Lukaku can get him into the positions fine. Can he finish properly? And I have a question mark over that. And Daniel probably, I don't want to speak to Daniel too much. He has probably a massive, not even a question mark. He probably already knows he's not going to finish. But I'll leave it like that.
Can I just quickly add on to Andrew's point, and then because I only have really a short thing to say on this as well, and then we'll let Daniel take the floor. But I agree with Andrew to a certain extent. I'm a little bit nervous with Havertz, Lukaku, Werner, because I feel like with Mount, you're guaranteed consistency, whereas from Havertz and Werner throughout last year in the Premier League, we didn't see it at nowhere near as much as Mount. So it would be interesting. I'm not against it. I think Werner will be better with Lukaku, but yeah, I'm not against it. Let's just say that.
Okay, Dan, I know you're not going to like it because
don't disappoint me, Daniel.
Proposed Mount's not in there. But what's your thoughts, mate? Go on, tell us.
It's not even about Mount not being in there, because one of my starting 11s, Mount isn't in there. The problem is you have number 11 in there, and everyone who knows me, I'm a 32-6 guy, and what that means is 32 games on the bench, 6 starts. That's what I want from that guy. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? I think it's an interesting. We're getting there. We're building. No, but honestly, I think a Werner Lukaku partnership works if we tweak the formation slightly. Okay. And what I mean by that is if you have both of them playing up top, right? Because the system we currently have with the 2 attacking 10s, it requires a lot more build-up play from both of them. It requires a lot more, especially when Werner isn't the focal point. He's gonna have to build up play a lot more, and I don't think he's good at that whatsoever. If he works on his finishing, a front two of Lukaku and Werner is going to create a lot of chances. Just based on Lukaku being able to hold the ball off and lay it off to him, like the way Lukaku draws two or three players. In theory, on skill set, it could work. The only problem is when Werner gets in those spots, is he going to finish? But you know what? I'm not someone who would say I don't want to ever see it. I would like to see it, but once the misses start happening, I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, well, look, yeah, no, I get that, and he's always gonna. I think with Werner, he's always gonna get. It's a right missing chances because every top player does. We need to understand that players do miss chances, yeah.
Right.
But he needs to be scoring more than what he's missing, and that's the issue at the moment. Do you know what I mean? If he was converting more than what he was actually missing, I don't think we'd have this issue with him. And this is where
also just one slight tweak in that system that I was saying. If I'm playing that system, I want Ziyech in there, right? I want Ziyech.
I was going to ask you next. I'm going to ask you
Okay,
your.
fair.
This is just mine, and I just wanted to get your points of views on it. And now, but let's move off of mine and let's go to Andrew's first. Andrew, what is your second proposed?
Mine was move Havertz to the left and put Ziyech on the right. That was my next one. Because what it does is it allows Ziyech to be the creator, and allows give Havertz more of a freedom role to get in the box and support Lukaku, to be that second. What I saw him do in the Euros with Germany, feed off that front man and just use his runs, and they can't pick him up. And there's then two options in the box if we're crossing in or anything like that. Like I said, we saw Havertz on the left against Arsenal. I thought he played very well. And Ziyech is not popular enough yet at Chelsea. You know, he has his fans. I think he's okay. I was very excited last season when we signed him, but I'd like to see that. Whether I don't know if Tuchel would put that in a big game unless they're all on form and clicking, but I'd like to see that. Especially after this run, after the Villa, Tottenham, Man City games. Yeah, something like that. When we haven't got, then on paper it doesn't look like we've got a hard league campaign until like Leicester and Man United back to back. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that given a go. I think it's very creative. So I'd like to see that.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. Ziyech is not in any of my front threes that I picked. I know I've only got one more proposed option, and it's not that I don't not like Hakim Ziyech. I just think that in terms of what I want to see with Lukaku up front being the main core, he is not one of them. Even though I think he's important in terms of the creativity element of things, sometimes I just feel like he can sometimes just go phase, like he could just fizzle out of games. Like you don't even know he's on the pitch, and he struggles to get involved. And maybe I'm being highly critical on him and too much because we haven't seen him this season and he got injury and he had a good pre-season. But last season there was so many games, and I think to the final against Leicester where he was playing, and I thought he was non-existent. Like it's like he wasn't even on him and Pulisic. Him and Pulisic for me are both players that don't make my proposed front threes. They don't, and I don't. If you'd have asked me over a season ago, I would have turned around and said to you guys, Pulisic's the first person that starts. But based on what I've seen of him and recently, I just think he also struggles with that. But we'll get into Pulisic later. But what are your thoughts, guys, on this?
I do want to see. I mean, I've been very critical of Ziyech, as Andrew knows.
Hurtful language.
But obviously, it's a new season. I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm gonna, he plays for Chelsea. I want him to do well. I'm willing to back him if he plays. I'm not against this. Again, to be fair, I'm not really against any of our attackers playing because I think they're good to a certain level. And if Ziyech playing well means best for us, that's brilliant. I want him to play well. Plus, we need our wingers to step up so we don't buy Chiesa because all the receipts I've got on Chiesa, I'm finished.
Don't worry, we're not going to buy him.
Dan, what's your thoughts on Hakim Ziyech? Because obviously I don't know if he's in one of your lineups, but what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, so my thing with Hakim Ziyech is he's a very he's a Bruno player without the type of output to overcome his shortage. Like what the mistakes that he makes, the way that he loses the ball, the way that you know what I mean. Like the game has to be driven through him, and he's not good enough for us to drive our entire game through him. He's not Hazard, if you get what I'm saying. And being meaning that he needs to be able to try anything he wants at any time. Because I see it in games, he tries probably 8 different passes and one comes off, right? And but that one is a beautiful,
Beautiful
you know,
ball, yeah.
left foot swivel, but that's not. It looks good. It's not effective when you're trying to build a possessive game. When you're trying to press from the front, when you want your team to have 65 to 70% of the ball. You know, if your attackers, even if they're creative, if they're losing the ball, the other team is going to counter you every time. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're losing the ball closer to your own pitch. That being said, I think our system can work with him if he is able to play a Fabregas role under Conte. Meaning you're the player who comes in the last 20 minutes. You're the player who comes in the last 15, 20 minutes and just tries everything. Just do what you have to do. Right? Because in that space of time, I think that's enough time for him to be able to do what he wants and not give the opponent enough time to develop a plan to counter him or to press him all the time and him losing the ball. Because that was another problem, was that when he received the ball in attacking ends, when he was pressed, more time than not he's going to lose it, right? And that's a problem. But again, if he's with the previous lineup that we had with Werner, Lukaku up top, and with Ziyech just trying everything, spraying them balls, I think he can be effective. Maybe not in the big games, but in the smaller games, in the Crystal Palaces, in those type of games, I think he can be a very good player for us.
Yes.
I agree with Daniel quite a bit there, to be fair. With Ziyech as well, I know you compared him to Bruno, obviously with less output. The thing is with Bruno as well, even if he's having a bad game, he'll still press. He'll still be effective off the ball.
Right.
His movement's very good. For United to play a fluid attack, you know, you see Mason Greenwood drop deep, and Bruno is pretty much playing as their furthest attacker forward some of the time. So, yeah, I see where Daniel's coming from.
Jason says, James, do you think we need to increase our goal scores from corners? Yeah, but the biggest problem you've got, like you said, there is no Zuma. And Christensen's not a great scorer from corners. Rudiger's here and there. Thiago Silva's here and there. We don't really have, barring Lukaku and Havertz, anyone else we can throw in there? I don't really think we've got that many threats from corners. So you
Alonso maybe.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what? All it has to be is a good delivery into the box. It doesn't even have to be like headed straight into the goal.
We have Lukaku.
Just get it in so it messes.
Yeah, that's what I said. Lukaku and Havertz. That's
Lukaku. I think has the most headed goals out of any active striker in the Premier League. You know what I mean? So it's you losing Zuma, but then you're having a play. And again, Zuma barely played last year. I mean, the first half he did play, but now you have a player on the pitch who's always a threat from crossing. Always a threat. I mean, look at the Arsenal game.
Yeah,
he almost scored.
Yeah,
that was an excellent save.
I can't lie. I think goals from corners is one of the least of our worries, in my opinion. It's how we as long as we defend from corners, I'm good, and we score the odd corner goal, perfect.
Do we forget what happened in the Champions League finals and first game of the season?
What are we talking about?
I don't know. He just said I missed his comment and he brought it up. I don't know what he's referring to.
Let's move
on though. Daniel, your proposed second front three. What are you saying?
So my proposed second front three was going to be Pulisic, Lukaku.
Whoa!
Pulisic, Lukaku, and Mason Mount. That was my second one. The reason being that number 10, right? We paid a lot of money for him. He's extremely talented. He has bags of ability. You know, his dribbling is great. His late post runs, his decision making is terrible, and he releases the ball way too late at times. But he's also 22, I believe, or 23, going on 23. He's a young guy, and I guess replacing what I'm picking starting lineups, I'm thinking of like the combinations and the style of plays, right? And when you have a dribbler and a player who carries the ball like Pulisic, and again, when I'm playing this, I'll play Pulisic and Lukaku up top. The only time I'm playing a 3 is when you have Havertz, Mount, and Lukaku. Otherwise, I'll play them as a 2, as a combination 2, and then Mount as a 10 or in one of the 3.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the formation I'll most likely play, just because I feel like Pulisic has a lot to offer still. I think he needs to realize that he's not gonna get 10 games or 8 games to prove himself. Havertz is ahead of him, Mount is ahead of him. He just needs to, when he gets a chance, he just needs to
Rico!
he needs to perform.
Oh, God, they're coming
I'm-
for you. The chat's going on you, bro.
Why are they going for it? I don't understand.
Come in.
A year ago, they would have all agreed with Daniel.
Yeah.
Rico!
So
What's this? Beautiful game says Pulisic is living on credit. He's
no,
account-
I'm sorry.
Do
I
you
agree
with that.
My second front three is exactly what Daniel
Okay,
just said.
that's
there.
fair. I mean, you can disagree. I'm just
Let's
I'm
stay on
just giving
Daniel's.
options. I'm just giving
Yeah,
options
no,
because
exactly. This is your proposed option.
Get
Dan,
me
and
on
I-
yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah, I'm just giving
going to be
options.
honest, right? When I look at that, I want to stay on it for a second, and we're going to go to Wills as well. Pulisic, Mount, Lukaku. If you'd have, like you said, if you'd have asked me over a year ago, well, obviously we wouldn't have had Lukaku. Would Pulisic and Mount make the team? I'd probably say yeah. I'd say they're one of our two most important players. But the problem you've got with Christian Pulisic at the moment is, I feel like in this system, in this formation, he struggles. And I don't get it. I don't get why, because he's being given freedom, which means that when he's got the ball, he should be, for me, the most effective player in this system. Why? Because he's direct. He picks the ball up and he likes opening spaces. Yeah, he likes running into spaces. He should be benefiting more from this. Every time he picks the ball up, I feel like sometimes he's got roller skates on his feet. It's like he can't control the ball properly, or he runs with it and he falls over. And I'm just like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he struggling in this system?
You know what I think? I think he needs more tactical instruction and less to do when he gets into the attacking end. I think because he can dribble, he may think he's Hazard, where you can dribble 4 or 5 players. Maybe you can't dribble 4 or 5 players because you can't make a decision after you do dribble 4 or 5 players. Maybe you need to be put in positions where you only have 1 or 2 players to unbeat. Meaning, develop your game like Werner has. Develop your movement. So when you get the ball, you only have 1 man in front of you or 2 men, and it's a one decision thing. It's like dribble and then make a decision. Right now, what we see with him is he tries to pick up the ball off the left back and dribble 4 or 5 players. You know what I mean? And it's just not working for us. He doesn't know where he needs to be. He doesn't know what runs he needs to make. He doesn't know, you know what I mean? And all that, I feel like, is tactical instruction for him. Plus, he just needs to develop his game more. And we've all said it. If he doesn't do that this season, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to stay with Chelsea. It's going to be very difficult for him.
I agree, and I think not only him, but I think there's a number of players that are literally on their last leg, and I think Chelsea might drop him next season. If he has the same season as he did at the end of last season, where he wasn't really getting involved, or even last season, I think you might see him. If Callum Hudson-Odoi don't get time to play as well, he might be up. Hakim Ziyech, if he doesn't bring in a greater performance, plays better than what he did last season. Timo Werner, the same. There's so many question marks on our players, and it's going to be such a big season for them going into the fact that we should be competing this season as well. But there's 150 viewers here right now, guys. We need to get to the 100 likes mark. Please smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. We're on our road to 3K subscribers as well, and we massively appreciate you all being here with us. The lines will be open soon as well for you guys to come in and have your say. Go on. What were you going to say?
Just really quickly before we move on to the next 3, what gives me hope of Pulisic is games like Real Madrid, right? Games like Porto, where again he's effective with it because he's not trying. That Real Madrid goal, right? It was a quick decision in the box, right? Beat 1 man to score. That's the type of situation we need to put him in more, or he needs to get himself in there more. Like, figure out your movement, learn off Werner. Again, I don't think Werner is completely useless, but learn the movements that he's making when he's playing, and add that to your game because you have a better touch, you have a better dribble. From what we've seen in the Premier League, your finishing is a little bit better. So add all those elements into your game, and you can be a good player. If you can't do that, you're most likely going to be sold.
Yeah, and I think that applies, and I think that should apply as a rule at Chelsea Football Club, period, for all players, not only the front line defenders, but for everyone, and that's how we always strive to be the best, right? You want the best players, but the best players have got to perform. If they don't perform, then and they're just being carried along in many ways, then you've got to think about other options. And I don't worry about Chelsea Football Club doing that, because I think that's one thing that we are good at doing. We are very ruthless. Does that make sense? If we don't think you're good, and you're not performing, we'll just get rid of you and bring someone else in. Like that's the way we've always been. But yeah, guys, let's move on to Will's proposed front three. Second options. What are you saying?
Christian Pulisic, Romelu Lukaku, Mason Mount. Exactly the same as Daniel's.
Yeah.
I'm going off of what I saw Pulisic do when we had a tall, physical striker like Giroud. Played off him very well. He always performs not always, but he performs very well normally when playing off of a physical presence. I think it gives us a level of fluidity as well. Obviously, Havertz loves to float onto that right-hand side. So does Lukaku. Lukaku will have more freedom on that right channel. Mm-hmm. If we have someone like Pulisic, you can sometimes drift a bit into the mid-space between the left channel and the middle. And obviously Mount, for me, Mount has to play in that front three because what he gives us. I don't think Pulisic gives us much off the ball whatsoever. Yeah. We need that for him to press from the front, etc. But Christian Pulisic is a player where every few months or so, there's every few months or so, there's a new player which the Chelsea fan base like to pick on. It was Mount, then it was Jorginho. At one point, it was Rudiger, Alonso, and now it seems to be Christian Pulisic is a player that obviously criticism is fine. He was not great last season whatsoever. He deserved a bit of criticism. Things he can improve on, etc. And I'm not aiming this at anyone here or even anyone in the chat. But every day, most days, I see Pulisic getting absolutely slandered for no reason. It can be someone taking a quote he said out of context. It can be people picking on him for liking an Instagram post. People making fun of his injuries, saying, "Oh, let's just throw him in a swap deal for this player or that player." I think it's a bit outrageous, to be fair, that he doesn't get the backing which a lot of other players get, which haven't performed in the last year. So I think the fan base should be a bit consistent with their energy towards certain players.
Couch, the line will be open soon, bro. I want to hear your proposed front three. I know you're saying in the chat you've got yours ready, you want to get involved, but he is enjoying the debate. He said it's a great debate show and what we're talking about. Big up to you, man, as well. We prefer that. 170 people here. Guys, we're only on 70 likes. We should be on 100.
Guys, get the likes up, man.
How are we not on 100 likes yet, man? There's 170 people.
I don't think we should say anything more until we get to
it's free, guys. Just click on the like button. It's free.
The third front three. So you get 100 likes.
Yeah. It is what it is. Isn't it?
Let me say on this. I think partly the Pulisic's criticism is because we know he can go to another level.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that, Andrew. I don't mean.
No, I'm saying part of the criticism. I'm not saying part of it. The issue I have with Pulisic is, apart from his dribbling when he creates something, I don't think he's got anything else like to create. Like he's not got a great cross or anything like that, or a great inside pass or something like that. I think he's more of a goal scorer than a creator myself.
I agree with you.
He's more like a second striker, just to run off. So maybe like a Jota, if I'm being honest, I can link him to. It's like a Jota who's just like really.
He's a better dribbler.
Andrew, you almost picked the perfect player out of my mind. I was thinking about the player to compare him to. And that's it, because Jota doesn't dribble anywhere else but the front three. They're like, you know what I mean? In the attacking end, which is dribble, shoot, not just dribble to create, because you can't create. You're not a playmaker.
I mean, it's an arguable point to say that in some games you could try him out up there by himself as the pivotal point, like sort of like a false nine. Because if you're going to play him out wide, that's fine, but you're not going to get anything. He's not going to cross in or anything like that.
Yeah, he does.
He's just going to run, and he is good at that. But it's arguable that we get more assists or anything from Werner this season than we will from Pulisic.
I agree.
Because I just think if you're going to play him, don't expect him to be like, oh my god, he's gonna, oh my god, he's seen Havertz, he's gonna outside the boot cross it in, and Havertz is gonna score a header. I just don't see that happening. And also, if he has another injury hit season, as great as he is, I think there will be consideration next season that they might get rid of him.
I think they will
because of his injuries, not because of his talent, because of his injuries.
Well, only because you hear people like Kingsley Coleman's contract is up next year, right? He's going to be on the market. You have several. There are a lot of different options coming up.
Dabala, he's on the market.
Exactly, he's on the market next year. So
Chiesa.
A lot of these guys, even Chiesa, I think his contract is running out too. So far, yo, stop it.
I'm gonna do it like Kazi.
But again, I agree with Will. We can't give up on any of our attacking players because they're all really young. Like we saw what happened with Gnabry. Gnabry was the most injury-prone, ineffective player at Arsenal. But we saw his talent. It took him a couple years till he was 24 to get over those injuries and everything else. So I will keep Pulisic for that reason. But because he does a lot of interviews about playing time and all this and all that, and if he doesn't develop his game, I'm sorry, that's not going to change. You're not going to play much.
After that,
I want him to. I believe in him.
But after Real Madrid semi-final, he stunk up the joint, man. He was stinky at the end of the season. He was poor.
Do you know what? If we got rid of Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic and got Chiesa and Gnabry, I'd probably have to deactivate all my social media. I'll no longer be on YouTube, no longer be on Twitter.
Yeah, you've been up against. I've seen you. I
can't stand Gnabry or Chiesa. Well, actually, I don't mind Chiesa now.
Wish it into existence.
I don't mind him. He's a good player.
Let's move on to the last. My proposed last final three, and then we're going to wrap up the lines because there's people that want to get in as well and have their say. It's easy for me. People want to say, how is Werner getting into Gem sides twice? Like, what's going on here? But I'd like to see. 1 second. They're still debating Mason Mount here. They even want Mason Mount here.
Like Ziyech?
No.
Do you want Ziyech in that role?
No, I would like to see Mason Mount, Timo Werner, and Lukaku play as my third option of our final three, which means there's no Christian Pulisic, there's no Cho, and there's no Ziyech in my proposed three that I've listed out there. Some people would say, "Why Werner? Why is he bothering?" Like I've got this thing. Like I actually think there's a good player in him. I don't get how a player that scores that many goals comes to here and all of a sudden he's that bad. Like it doesn't sit with me, and I do think it's a mentality thing, and only maybe he himself can get him back to the levels maybe that he was at. And I was watching some of his goals right when he was over there. A lot of these goals that he was scoring were instinctive. They were instinctive goals. You know, he sort of wasn't thinking about it. And when I watched him for Chelsea last season, he got himself in the right positions. I felt like he was overthinking before rather than just doing. And if he can just do it, maybe not being the focal point. Now Lukaku's here as well, might relay off the pressure off him as well. If he can just get that back. Did you see the clip on Chelsea on social media of him scoring with his right foot and then his left foot? And everyone was like, how's he even scoring goals like that in training, but he can't do it in a big game? Like
he was shamelessly celebrating as well.
Yeah, I know. He was shameless. Yeah, but what I'm trying to get is he can score goals. And I don't know. I think he offers more. I know it sounds really bad, but I actually think when you look at what he actually does if he's not scoring goals, I think he gives us something completely different to what a Ziyech would give and a Pulisic would give. I would always put Pulisic in that team if Pulisic is on form, but at the moment he's just not that Pulisic. And for Ziyech, I think he's good, but I agree with what Daniel says. He might have 6 or 7. Good, like he'll have 6 or 7 chances where he could play that ball, and maybe 1 or 2 of them might look absolutely beautiful. Do you know what I think? Other than that, he loses the ball. So I want to see more consistency from the creativity of Hakim Ziyech. But I don't know and I think Mason Mount would work with them because I think even though Mason Mount will sit deeper, Werner and Lukaku will make runs off him, and the spaces will be there for Mount to play them balls into him, and I think it could work. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it would work. Yeah, I think it's a good. I'm not against it either. I think it's a good front three. I think rotation is going to be key this year. So, again, I'm not really against any of our players starting. I think Mount playing's a bonus in this front three. I think Werner just needs a bit more confidence. I agree with you, Jem. There is a player in Werner. I think sometimes the hate he gets is way too far. I think obviously he was not clinical last year whatsoever, and I'm not expecting him to be clinical this year. If he just scores 1 in 4, 1 in 3 chances, it'll be good enough. He just needs to be a bit more clinical, get more goals. That's what we signed him for. I know he's not an out-and-out striker, but when you think of Timo Werner in Bundesliga, you think 25, 30 goals in all comps. Yep. You don't think of movement. Well, you do think of movement in the sense of how he got in behind, but you don't think of him creating chances or winning penalties.
Yeah.
We can't. It's all right to say that from last year, how he contributed, but this year he's got to step up.
Hear that? I do hear that. What about Windsurfer? What about that? What do you think about this lineup again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of with you. I think he's more of an instinct player than if he overthinks it. You tend to see he'll make a bad decision like he does when he goes into finishing. I think he overthinks it. I think when it comes to his assists, I think it's more instinct. Like when like he's like a few of assists with Ziyech are more like just he doesn't really think about it and crosses it. I mean, I think he's a player that doesn't have a trick. That's the issue. He's like more like pace and everything like that. And I think that's why he's sometimes picked ahead mainly just because of his pace. But yeah, I mean, when he doesn't have to think about it, he's very good. It's the problem when probably in training he wasn't even thinking about it. He was just shooting. Whereas like in a real match, he's like going, oh, putting it up here. I'm just I don't know where I'm gonna put it, and then he overthinks it, and then he slice it high and wide.
Yeah, and if he could just take that out of his game, that's my thing. Yeah. If he could just mentally get it it's for himself, get it right. And we've seen players at this football club mentally falter. I think we look at Morata. I think he's another one. Got his injury, come back, never was the same. Never really found his form. Just Fernando Torres is another. There's a couple of players. I mean, Dan, anything more you'd like to say before we move on to Winter Surfers on this one?
Yeah, I just think I think there might be something to do with the pace of the Premier League and just the fact that he fears how much time he has when it comes to his finishing. Yeah. Like, I hear what you guys are saying when it comes to the decision making. Like, if he doesn't have to think about a pass or a shot, it's easier for him to make a decision. But when it comes to his finishing, like, I watched back some of his Bundesliga finishes, right? Off the left, running in, he cuts in, and it's a sublime finish, like a top bins. I haven't seen that once in the Premier League, not once. And the reason is, I feel, and I could be wrong, is just like he's hounded too much. He feels, the pace is too heavy that when it's time to make that decision to decide if you want to, shoot the ball to the top right or, to the left bottom, he doesn't know what to do. He just shoots it. He just takes any shot whatsoever. Like, let me just get the ball. Let me just shoot it. He's not even looking up. He's not. And I feel like in the Bundesliga, you don't go from having those variety of finishes if you're not rushing things. And I feel like he's rushing things in the Premier League because the pace, like there's always a last ditch defender there. There's always a last minute block. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just better defending here, so he has a lot less time. But I think he can be useful. I'll tweak that formation slightly to have him play as a 2. With Lukaku, I think that's going to be helpful for him more. But apart from that, I think he does. He could get a couple starts, about 2 of them.
Yeah. there's Dan's thoughts on that. Well, quickly, Paul's asked us to answer a question on the panel. How many goals/assists do you think Saul will contribute this year, overall in all comps? Or let's keep it quick for this week because we want to stay on topic. But I think he will score anything between 1 to 5 goals. I'm not expecting more from him.
3 and 3. I'll say 3 and 3.
And in terms of assists, anything between 1 and 8, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. 1 to 5. Go on, guys.
I'm going to go with. Oh, do you want to go, Andrew?
I'll say 4 goals, 5 assists.
Okay.
5. Okay.
I'm going to say 3 goals. 3 goals, maybe 3 assists.
Go 3 and 3.
Yeah, same as what Daniel said.
Saying Dan? 3 as well.
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Cool. All right, Andrew, what's your third?
So people might. I hope they don't blow up. If you could take Lukaku out and put Havertz in, please.
Oh, okay.
And I was thinking that, Andrew, stop biting off.
Yeah.
And now I'm only thinking this in terms of rotation because I don't think we need to have Lukaku play every single game.
He's gonna need the rest. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know? And if he goes out, we will go back to this. This is a tried and trusted front
three.
These
three. Yeah, these two behind. Yeah,
they won the European Cup. So they played very well. We already know it works. What I mean is, unless he's injured, you won't see this front three unless they're probably against a lower table team, something like an Arsenal or something like that, or like Watford or something. But it works. I know it works because we've seen it work. We've seen them link up well, and it's a European Cup winning front three. So I'm doing it in terms of thinking about rotation and not overworking Lukaku. So
yeah, I hear that. There's over 200 viewers here. Do you agree with Andrew's third choice front three? Let us know in the chat, guys. The link's going to be.
Let's run Lukaku into the ground.
There's going to be some links in the description soon, so you can come on and give us your thoughts and your views of a front three, and you can maybe question us as well about our thoughts. But yeah, I mean, does everyone agree? I actually agree with Andrew on this. I think it makes a lot of sense because I don't think Lukaku can play every game, and when you think about where we lack depth the most, it is probably as a striker. Right, everywhere else we're quite strong now, so you would want to make sure that Lukaku's kept fit, no injuries, rotated, kept fresh. So I 100% agree with him as well.
If I see Lukaku in the League Cup third round, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
Andrew, it's fine. Everyone just wants him to play. Everyone just wants him to play 55 games in a season.
Play 11 academy graduates in that. I don't care.
No, not that far. Not that far. No, because Andrew will get names you never heard of, and then when we're linked to Dybala next year on a free, they're going to say, "Oh no, we've got this player. We don't want more of that." Okay, more elite talents from the academy, yes. But
I said, Havertz. This is Havertz year, right? Not in terms of being the main guy. Lukaku is going to be the main guy, but I think his development is going to come leaps and bounds, just like Martinez did. His development came. Is that his name? The second striker?
Lautaro.
Lautaro. Yeah. So his game came leaps and bounds, playing and his responsibility. I think this is time for Havertz to become the second goal scorer in our team. Like, if you're not looking for Lukaku, you're looking for him. And that's why I love that he scored against Liverpool. I think I mentioned it in the preview that I'm looking to him to see maybe it was the Arsenal game. I was like, I'm looking to him to see what he can do this year. It's holding the mantle as if Lukaku's not scoring, I'm scoring, right? I'm leading the team. So I think this lineup isn't going to happen often. It's it's going to be once in a while. One of those, the Carling Cup, the FA Cup games, and it creates chances. It's up to Werner to actually take the chances that he's going to get, because every game he plays, he's always going to get chances. And Havertz, I think he's going to score 17 goals this year.
Wow!
I think he's going to get 17 to 20 something goals. He's going to have a really good year scoring.
Hopefully.
We've got a comment from Trillis. It says, disagree, Lukaku needs to play against lower teams and blocks. Werner needs to be our striker for bigger games with Havertz and Ziyech next to him. Wow.
I don't
Trillis,
agree with that.
interesting to hear, but this is what it's about, the debate show, guys. Yeah, this is for you guys to throw in your opinions about what you think's best for your football club. We have got a donation from Tukelista. Thank you very much for the donation, bro. He says, I think Mount holds us back a bit in the final third. I doubt that he's off the ball work rate compensates for his creative fallings, and he thinks Mason Mount's, someone that he shouldn't be in that starting three. I mean, Dan,
Tuchel, why do you start him then, man? Why do you start him? I need you to talk. I need you to talk to your God. Text him or something and be like, "Yo, stop starting Mount." Listen.
With that comment, okay,
it's so silly. Like,
Mount obviously has sometimes, he takes a bit too long on the ball, but he's young. All I'm gonna say is that if quote unquote Mount holds us back in the final third, quote unquote, who are you gonna put him in with? You can't say that Ziyech doesn't have faults in his game. You can't say that Pulisic doesn't have faults. You can't say that Havertz doesn't have faults. You can't say that Werner doesn't have faults. No player is perfect. Even Lukaku, amazing player. He's not perfect.
We play a possession game, right? Let me just give you a couple of just random stats. The pass percentage that Ziyech currently has is about 69%. 69 to 69 to 70 something, right? His attacking ability doesn't compensate for that. When you look at players like if he was a Mata, right? When it was the debate between Mata and Oscar, the answer was easy because Mata would give you all those creation at an 86% rate. He didn't lose the ball much. He created so much. He had 35 assists in one freaking season, right? He was just a different. So you can give up him helping you in the defensive phase, or helping you press, or helping you win the ball back, or have the most ball coverage in your team. You can give all that up because the guy is giving you something so incredible attacking wise, right? Ziyech doesn't give you that. No player we have gives you that over what Mount will give you, plus his attacking ability. Because we act like Mount doesn't give you attacking ability, and he does. He's not Mata, right? But no one in our team is.
Daniel,
And unless
do you know with me? Yeah, Mata is a trigger word for me. I start crying that we don't have a player like Mata. Every time it comes up, if we had a player like Juan Mata,
or Fabregas, you know what I'm saying?
Mata, Fabregas, Fabregas.
If we had one of those guys, and you're telling me, listen, we want to bench Mount and get rid of everything he gives us as a player, his tactical flexibility, his work rate, his ball retention, his ball progression, his
set
assists, his
pieces.
goals, all that. You want to get rid of all that. It has to be for a player like Mata. Otherwise, it's pointless. It doesn't help your team as a whole. And like we said with Mount, every game happens differently, right? You can start the game and think, oh, we're gonna be up on top, but for the first 20 minutes, that team is pressing you and overloading your midfield. What does Mount do? He's gonna drop in for those 20 minutes, and when the game opens back up, he moves back up forward.
Yeah.
No other player in our team is able to do that on a consistent basis.
I just think we'll probably all agree that, and hopefully it will come because we've seen him improve season. His decision making in bigger games has to be better.
Yeah.
In terms of like we saw last Saturday, releasing the ball quicker, and also instead of going for the shot, like passing it to Havertz probably. But maybe you couldn't see it. Maybe I'm a bit like too harsh. But I think everywhere else he will be given like more chance against lesser teams, because that's just we're going to have more of the ball. So that's when going forward though. I want him to start, and I know he will, because he's shown he can adapt and he can improve. That's what I like about him. That's when I always say about Mount, I don't think he's that naturally talented like a Grealish or a Foden. But what I think he's got, the best trait of Frank Lampard is that he looks to improve, and he does, and that's why he'll end up having a better career than these people. So that's all that. Just improve decision making.
Just on the decision making, even the youngsters that we rate the highest, and Mbappe. I've seen Mbappe have horrible decision making in Champions League finals, horrible decision making in the Euros from France, time and time over. And this is the upper echelon of creativity or attacking talent. When you're young, it's going to happen. If he was 25, I would give up hope. Like, oh, he's 25. I don't know if he's going to improve much in his decision making, but he's 22.
Do you know, Daniel? Do you know why that is? I honestly blame FIFA for a lot of the sort of perfect player sort of model that people have in their brain. Like, for example, you have Mbappe. He's the best young player in the world. I don't think anyone comes close, in my opinion, with Mbappe. Yeah. If he has a bad game in the Champions League, or he misses a few chances here and there, when people watch Liga and whatever, they call him overrated. They call him a fraud. They call him a pace merchant. Crap like that. It's not. They don't understand that players can have off moments, can have things in their game which they need to improve on. It's like they think it's just FIFA career mode where you can develop a player to a certain level and they're perfect at such a young age. It's so stupid.
But
guys, let's be on to Going to Dan. Dan hasn't done his yet, has he? We're on to Dan, haven't we? So Dan,
my last one.
Go on.
Okay, so my last starting lineup would, again, I like tweaking these slightly with the front two. It's Pulisic. I guess you put Pulisic on the left.
Yes.
You have Lukaku up top.
What's going on?
And then you have the Moroccan Prince,
I don't want to print.
Well, whatever he is, you put him. And again, let me explain. In my mind, when I'm picking these like lineups, I'm thinking of
wait a
in-game.
Wait a sec. Did you say Pulisic, Lukaku, and Ziyech? Yeah, is that
And yeah, and Ziyech.
Wow, players that I haven't even gone for.
And the reason, and again, when I'm picking these lineups, it's not more so a lot of times to even start as changes you can make within games. That to me is probably our most attacking lineup when it comes to just straight. I mean, it's not very well balanced, but it's like a gung ho. Like if we're losing or if it's a game where we can't break them down, you get Pulisic on. Let's see if his dribbling can maybe create some space and create something. Zia can spam his crosses like he always does, and maybe one of them can touch the top of Lukaku's head, and Lukaku just, I mean, he just does what he does. So for me, this is like the emergency. We have injuries or it's a game that we're struggling with. I'll go with this.
Fair enough. I worry about it. I agree with what you're saying in terms of injuries and that, but I worry about it in terms of we've seen Pulisic and Ziyech play together last season.
I know. Yeah.
Really, they were so. Do you remember that game? Who did we play in the FA Cup away? Do you remember? It was Barnsley, wasn't it? Was it Barnsley?
Do
you remember that game and how bad they were? Like they couldn't even control a ball at that first half. I was like nearly pulling my hair out, and I was like, "What is going on here? This is Barnsley." Do you know what I mean? Like we just literally, it worries me because even though I think Hakim Ziyech looks a lot more sharper and he's ready this season, I think Christian Pulisic. I don't know. I just feel a bit with it, with both of them on at the same time. No Mount, no Havertz, not in that team. I'd like to at least have one of them with that player, if that makes sense, rather than having both Pulisic and Ziyech in the same team. But on paper, that should work. One's a great assister who was doing it in the Dutch league for a number of years, and the other one was one of our best players going into the first season of Frank Lampard. Do you know what I mean? It was awesome. Yeah. He was undroppable at one point, literally undroppable.
To be fair, I am quite worried about Ziyech in a way because we've seen him have these great periods of form when he's got injured. I remember he was great up until that Leeds game in early December last year, and he got injured. Got injured after getting that amazing key pass in that pre-season game, and now he's done. I hope he can get back into form, but I'm a bit worried about him, to be fair.
The irony of that front three is that works probably better in a 4-3-3 system.
Yeah,
it does a 3-4-3 system. Because the extra midfield allows for the defense deficiency in both players. And I don't know. Listen, he might do it. Might be even do it in the 4-2-2. He's played a couple of times in pre-season, but I don't think we will ever see that. But I could see Pulisic and Ziyech over the side. I just couldn't see them up there with Lukaku. I don't know. It is very attacking. I just think it's too attacking in this system that we like to play.
Well, this is what Shakti's saying here. He's saying surely not a fixed squad to start every game. Tuchel's choose the players who suits most in the particular match. No one is droppable at Chelsea.
That's correct. But he's definitely got probably a set 6 to 7.
I'm gonna predict now. He's gonna start almost the same lineup for about 30 games.
Do you reckon?
In the Premier League, it's going to be the same lineup for about 30 games. I think we overrate him switching players and everything else. He was doing that because he just got here. He didn't know who he had. He wasn't sure of who he had. Like Neymar and Mbappe started almost every game for him. He wasn't switching them out. You know what I mean? Marquinhos started every single game for him. You know what I mean? He doesn't switch that much when he trusts players. He just didn't trust them yet.
Yeah.
I think there's a few nailed on players I don't think are getting rotated much unless it's against Malmo. I don't think he'll play his full strength team against Malmo or in other competitions, etc.
Yeah.
I think you've got Mendy who's going to start, Christensen, Rudiger, Aspi. I think are all nailed on. James as well, Jorginho, Kante. I think they're all nailed on. So
let's jump on to Will's proposed.
See, I'm calling it the on trial cup team. This is what I'm calling this. Okay, I'm putting Callum Hudson on the left, Hakim Ziyech on the right.
Oh, forgot about him.
Werner up front. All right, these are the players on trial that I'll play in the literally. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Wait, say that again. You went too quick for me. Timo Werner up front, did you say?
Yeah, Timo Werner up front. And hear me out before you get on to me, okay?
Who's on the right?
I would only use this as a last resort on.
Who's on the right, Will?
Who's on the right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Wow. Ugh, that makes you feel sick.
No. Again. It's going to be in EFL Cup games, in FA Cup games until the 5th round, and against Malmo, okay? That's it. I just wanted to fit them in somehow, and I thought this is the best way.
Malmo doesn't deserve this, okay? They don't deserve it.
No one deserves
do you know what that one is? That is the second leg of the round 16 Champions League tie when we're 5-0 up in the first half.
Yeah, against Sporting. Yeah.
That's what that is. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
Hey, but to be fair, if this is our worst attack, we're doing pretty good.
Yo, this is the Club World Cup team right here, man. You're playing Corinthians and them men.
Daniel, it's the League Cup game. We have, if we get that far, that we can't.
Right, so these are the guys who stay home.
To be fair, in all fairness, this is never happening.
They don't even travel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have to respect the competition, guys. We're going to leave them free.
Oh, shit. That's sick.
Right, well, that makes it. I mean, look, I ain't got much to say about that team, to be honest. The words I would use to that is speechless, to be honest, more than anything.
Jem, I didn't want to leave anyone out, all right? I felt bad.
Is that even worth a debate? I don't even know.
No, but Jem, do you think it's interesting that none of us, except for Will, who just kind of threw him in there, none of us put Cho in our lineups, and we had three different starting lineups.
That's because we weren't choosing wing backs. That's why.
No shit.
God's sake, Andrew.
I'm joking.
Oh, Choses? Is that?
Oh, Daniel.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
The argument with Callum Hudson-Odoi is, and this is for most of the Cho lovers, the Cho squad. I call them the Cho squad.
Cho hose. That's what you call
Cho. They say, you know, the reason that we ain't getting the best out of him is because he's not a right wing back. He's being played out of position. He needs to be played in the front three. But how does he get in this front three? That's my question mark.
Doesn't he's higher up on the list for a wing back than he is a front three one. That's the sad truth. He's higher up on a wing back list than he is for the front three. That is sad. That's why we should have let him go out on loan.
Exactly, Andrew. I'm more pissed. I'm more pissed that he didn't get his loan to Dortmund than we didn't sign Koundé. I'm more pissed that he didn't get his loan.
Chomophobic.
Hey, I'm not. I put him in. You know, I rate Cho highly, and I think he will be a great player.
I think we need Cho, though.
I just forgot. I forgot that he was there. I'm not.
I did.
When I would have probably tried to fit him in there somewhere, but I forgot.
We need an attacking wing back. We need an attacking wing back. So we need Cho. We had to keep him.
We haven't got that. You know.
I promise you, there'll be a few games. There'll be a few games where we need Cho to play in that position this season.
Hey, but you know the truth about Ziyech, Cho, and that's what I'm missing here. Is that the winger? Pulisic.
Yeah.
They're in a team that don't play to their strengths. They came in for Lampard, right? And now we got Tuchel. I can see him slowly maybe getting weeded out. And that's and no one brought up the points, right? That we play a systematic system, and how when you put Ziyech or Pulisic there and Cho wasn't there, how are they going to play in the system? I mean, people ask why Mount played all the time, and there's a big reason why Mount played all the time, and why Werner played over Ziyech and Pulisic a lot more. And there are reasons I can go through them if you guys want, but like.
Yeah, go on. I was going to ask you your front three. Who's your preferred front three before you do that?
Look, my perfect front three is probably what you guys agreed on was Lukaku, Havertz, and Mount.
Okay.
So the difference from last season to this season, right, is that Mount had, and I think I wrote in the comments, he had a bit more freedom role, and he would drop. So what happens in Tuchel's system when we're playing out and the ball gets to one of the sixes, right, Jorginho, Kante, whoever it is, right, one of those boys, Havertz or Mount, will drop deep, right, to make a midfield free. This is what happens all the time. And last season, it was always Mount, and it was Werner or Havertz dropping maybe, right, but Mount preferably, and Werner staying on the line, ready for that long ball, right? If there wasn't an option on. But now we have Lukaku to play to his feet, so we're not going to take that option. That's why Werner doesn't fit in this one. Doesn't fit that great with Lukaku in this system. And now we have two options of players dropping deep, right? And as soon as this happens, Reece James and Alonso bomb forward. That's why, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the preseason as well, Pulisic, Ziyech were tested in wing-back roles more than the front three. I think Ziyech out of those three can play a little bit more in the middle, but we're not playing to none of these guys' strengths. These guys are probably going to get weeded out of the club just because they're never going to play their best positions out wide. And that's why this is my best front three, because we're going to have heaps more flexibility than we did last season.
And it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I agree with what you're saying. I want Daniel to answer this question because Brian keeps putting this in. He says, "Question for the panel: Do you think Mount will get more goal assists than Mount? Remember that Werner has more goal assists than Mount."
I think he means will Mount get more than Werner. I think he was pointing.
Yeah.
Mount plays more, so.
Do we? All right. As an overall question, do you think he will get more this time around? Well, if he plays more, obviously he will, won't he?
Yeah, if he play, I think it's kind of simple. If he plays, I think he's going to play more, so he will get the numbers stats higher.
That question's that. Can I just say that Werner's supposed to get more goals than assists. He's an attacker. He's playing out wide. He's supposed to get more of that, and that's why he got more. Mount does different jobs. Mount should have got more because, like I said, he was 7th best on big chances. If Werner could finish a bit more, he would have helped Mount get more out the goals and assists down. But if I'm being fair, Werner might have less games than he did last season, but I expect Werner to have more goals and assists than Mount this season.
Yeah,
it's because positional. Like what I was saying before is that if we play Mount and Werner and Lukaku, Mount's going to be the one dropping deep to make that midfield free, and Werner won't. So Werner will be in better positions to getting inside the box and get the goals if he's playing link up with Lukaku.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to have less games, so that's going to put him less though.
You guys remember
talking about game for game and averages? Yeah, maybe.
Six
you guys remember the first? You guys remember the first game, right? Was it the first game or yeah? It was the first game where it was Kovacic and Jorginho, and I was kind of nervous because they were getting bypassed a whole lot, but prior to us scoring, right? And I think the assumption is that when we have those two, or if we have the two in midfield, if Conte is not there, you're always gonna need one of the others to drop in.
Yeah.
When it comes to the defensive phase, you're always going to need one of them to drop in, because possession-wise, yes, those guys are perfect. They're great. Defensively, they're always going to need help.
Yeah.
As we've always seen, you know what I mean? Like, you have to drop in and help them press from the front, help them, because you can't just let a team with 3 midfielders overload ours. And most teams don't play with a back 3; they play with a back 4, which means they have an extra midfielder that we don't have.
Sometimes it's one of the opposite wing backs drop deep can cut in as well to help on the defensive phase. You're talking about defensive phase, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the defensive phase, like say if the ball's on Alonso Saul's side, then James is one that comes in and makes that free if Alonso's caught out as well. But you're right, yeah, someone that can cover if they're chasing back. Usually one of those players get caught out though, then if the counter attempt is on.
Mm-hmm. And pressing from
the game. Yeah.
Well, people don't notice we had one of the most recoveries in the opposing third, right? Meaning we press really well and we win the ball back really, really well. That's a huge part of our game. When you look at the Real Madrid games, both our goals came from Conte winning the ball back in their end and us driving forward. That's a huge part of our game that you can't miss, right? And that's why Werner was starting, like you said, system, right? That's why Werner was starting all those games over Pulisic and Ziyech, even though he was just as inconsistent. The reason why he was starting all those games is because tactically, he still knew what to do. He just wasn't executing his finishing to the level that we needed him to. But tactically, he can follow in instructions. That's why I think Cho hasn't gotten much game time in the attacking end.
Yeah. And I agree. There's definitely something with Callum Hudson-Odoi that not I know we're not seeing it, but the managers are seeing, because Frank Lampard got a lot of criticism, right? Because before he got sacked, that first part of the season, he wasn't playing Callum Hudson-Odoi, and he was playing Mason Mount out of position, and everyone was slatering Frank Lampard for not playing him, saying he's crap, he's this, he's that. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Tuchel comes in, brings him in and out of the game. He brought him in. I remember him bringing him on as a substitute and then subbing him off as a substitute at some point as well, where he was just not like. What I'm trying to get, there must be something that if it's a mentality thing, if it's just Callum, I don't know, but it's something
it's pretty simple, Jim. Oh, not simple. All right, sorry. To sum it up, he's a natural winger. You put Cho in another team, right? If Cho goes on loan in another team, I guarantee he's going to kill it, right? When he has space to run into, look, if he could play where Reece James plays, right, but without the defensive duties, you know how great he'll look? And he has looked in some things. That's why people want him to play wing back. But if he just played as a pure winger, you'd kill it. You'd kill it in another team, man. I think. Well, I don't think it's a mentality. Like, it's a new system. Yeah, you're right. Like the thing is that you try to throw him into a different role, and he's too young, and I don't think he's adaptable. Not as much as Ziyech. That's why I think Ziyech is adapted better than Pulisic.
We've got Matt with us. We've got Grey Wolf Stinner as well. Hope you're well, guys. What would be your preferred 11 then? Grey Wolf Stinner. Go on, Max. You've been sitting for a while. What would be your not for 11? Front three. Sorry, front three.
I think you know what? As much as I love Kepa, I think I'd probably take him out and put Ziyech in.
I think he'll bang goals, man. That's what I let him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a good midfield.
Have you seen the ball at his feet, Grey Wolf Stinner, man? Go on, what are you saying?
I'm gonna go Mount, Lukaku, and Ziyech.
Oh,
yeah. This is more for Aston Villa than like for the whole season, but like I just think Ziyech will be pretty fresh. Like I think he's not playing; he's just training.
No Havertz.
Yeah,
no?
I think Ziyech will be ready for Aston Villa more than Havertz will, so I'd play him over.
I am worried about burnout for Mount though, because he's playing a lot for us and country at the moment. So it's like he needs to be rotated as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, Mount.
No, I'm just saying during the season he's been played by us and Gareth Southgate for like entire games. He needs to be rested.
Do you guys
don't
want
to Pedro? He's getting rested against Andorra. He's not playing against Andorra, so he should get rested then.
Oh, I'd like to see that. I bet he does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If Southgate plays against Andorra, I swear.
I don't know about this burnout thing, because you guys remember Lampard and Terry and the rest of them. They used to play like 36 games every year.
Well, look at Pedri as well. Pedri's
Pedri's
been playing for months, and he's still playing, but it's just up to the players' stamina. If they have stamina, I think Mount has the capability. It's just we wouldn't want to risk it and see him do it.
I agree.
I reckon Pedri will break down this season.
I just think in this formation, Mount is asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
And whereas Lampard really didn't in his early the Rome days. He wasn't really asked to defend a lot. He did, but do you know what I mean? It wasn't like really asked to defend a lot. He'd go up there and just bang a few goals in. And Terry,
Andrew, do you know what I think?
As good as Terry was, and he's one of the greats, no matter what anyone thinks. We had a solid midfield protection of Makelele.
But Andrew, do you know who I think will replace Mount or give Mount a rest more often than not? I think it's Saul.
I agree.
I think Saul.
What playing further up the pitch?
It's Havertz, bro.
It's
Havertz. That's a straight swap for Havertz.
Why would Sal give Mason Mount more rest? I need to understand.
The reason is
I don't get it either.
The reason being this, right, is the amount, like I said, the amount of work that Mount does tactically, and the fact that Saul gives you that flexibility in that he can play in the front three. He's done it before. He can play on the wing, can play in the midfield, but he can also rotate depending on how the game is going. And you can tell that Tuchel wants that tactically flexible player. That's why he always plays Mount. If he needs to drop into a midfield three, He knows Mount is going to be able to do it. He can yell out to him, dropping a three, and he's going to play that role perfectly, or stay up top. And we don't have, like you said, we don't have that player. Last year when Mount was getting tired, looking visibly tired, he still kept playing.
Nah.
Right? And when the others looked tired, when the likes of Werner and the rest of them, they got benched. Havertz was in and out.
Now we have Havertz to do that. What you just said. Havertz can. Now we have.
I don't think he sees Havertz in the same way.
He does, and I explained it before, that midfield three that I was talking about, and now we have two options, and that's why it works perfect, right? Because they don't know who's going to do it now. When you have Havertz and Mount, both of them doing it, they don't know. This which gives us a tactical advantage. But now, let's say we can't play both of them, right? We need one of them, right? As long as it's Mount or Havertz to play that what you just said as well, to drop into the middle, right? As long as it's one of them, right? Ziyech plays whoever's left plays almost what Werner did, like as a second striker,
right?
And that's how it works. Yeah, instead of going from like Saul should be really low on that pecking order because his best position is deeper midfield, right? Rather than playing up front.
No, I definitely agree. I just don't know if Havertz can diminish his game that much. It depends on the game, right? Like if you had like a game where I think he's just naturally a more attacking player, is a natural player who drives forward, and if you're asking him on a regular basis, not. You know what? You're actually right because it's not going to be a regular basis. It's like once in a while that they're both not going to play together.
And wouldn't you say Havertz's probably best position is like an 8 role?
You're right.
Not an inside forward. You know what I mean? That's why.
I think he's a second striker.
I think you guys severely underestimate how often Havertz comes deep to get the ball, even though he's playing as a 10. Like he's always running up and down the pitch.
No.
I'm not talking about. I heard something about Callum Hudson-Odoi that disgruntled me a little bit, and I had to come on.
Guys, I'm not talking about the attacking end. I was only talking about on the defensive end. If you look at our stats last season,
on the defensive end, look at how often Kai Havertz drops deep. He does drop deep a lot. Oftentimes, he's retrieving the ball from an interception and like on our half of the pitch.
Show your face, you coward.
I can't right now.
Maybe.
I'm in a dark, moist dungeon.
Listen, maybe he can do that role. It's difficult because Mount did have the most.
There's no maybe. He does. Daniel, come on, man.
Now listen to what I'm saying. Mount had the second most defensive stats in our team behind Conte, right? And that's with Jorginho. That's with Jorginho there as the best defensive mid, having his high defensive numbers with Kovacic, the rest of them. That's the level Mount was operating on under the defensive end. I don't know if Havertz can do that role and still do what he's doing attacking wise.
I don't think Saul is going to be the guy that replaces Mount though. I feel like a lot of people so overestimate how often Saul is actually going to play in this team. He's a 4th-choice midfielder, and he's not been in his best form for the past 2 seasons or so.
I agree with that.
Doesn't that remind you of another midfielder we got from Real Madrid in the exact same way?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Look,
he can take over
our best. Look, first of all, we got to remember that the reason we even have Saul is in case either Kova, Conte, Jorginho. If 2 of those midfielders get injured, Saul comes into play.
I don't think his role is just down to that. I think we signed Saul for a reason over getting a player that is not of a big profile that would happy to just be a backup. Saul's not a player that will just happily sit on the bench. He will be promised to play. There's a reason why Liverpool wanted him as their starting midfielder, but just didn't want to pay the wages he wanted. He will come in, and he won't be just as a last case scenario. He will be a player that rotates in and out frequently.
Yeah,
he'll maybe in like cup games and stuff, but I don't think he's gonna. I really don't think. You guys. I think you're really overestimating how often he's gonna play. Remember,
I don't think he's first choice, but he will play.
He's not first choice.
Guys, one second. So Marshall, you think he's going to play more frequent? What number of games? How many games?
Less frequent.
All right. How many games do you think he's going to play then over the whole season, roughly?
Dude, are we talking just the Premier League or are we talking like in general?
Just do Premier League. Let's just do Premier League. Come on.
Just in the Premier League, depending on our midfield, I think he's only going to play like at most 10 games.
I think he's
going to
start. I think he's going to start at most 10 games, but because of his versatility, again, he's a Swiss Army knife. We see how important that is for Tuchel when it comes to. Granted, He's been off form for the last couple of years, but he still played 33 games in the title-winning season last year. He played and he started about 30 of them. So it's really difficult to say he can't be useful as a rotational piece, especially because our midfielders are injury prone.
The thing though,
that's the only reason why
like,
he'll play much.
Okay,
because
like
they're injury prone.
Realistically, he's probably most likely going to be playing in the midfield because if you want to put him in the front three, are you really going to replace him over a front three over like a Pulisic or over a Ziyech or over?
He's not replacing anyone.
Guy, you do realize he joined this club.
When I said replacing,
we have so many options up top, you know.
No, but Will, when I said replacing Mount, I meant in terms of the work that Mount was doing.
Oh, right, but he's not replacing.
Another player is going to play. Is probably going to play up top in that front three, but I'm saying in terms of that work rate, when Mount isn't there or when Conte isn't there, I think he's the next guy.
The thing is with Saul, though, as well, it's not been 2 seasons he's been out of form for. There was last summer, United wanted to pay near 70 million for him.
90 million.
Those guys are idiots, though.
Yeah, how much they want to pay? I don't care. That doesn't tell me much about his form. They paid however much about Varane, and Varane had one of his worst seasons last season.
Yeah, but Varane has won 4 Champions Leagues and a World Cup and been instrumental in almost all of them.
Yeah, and he was nothing. He was nothing without Sergio Ramos last season.
Hey, there's no reason to his out of form, right? And the Swiss Army knife is the analogy is the reason why. He hasn't had the best of games. He's been playing everywhere, and I remember last season he started off injured as well. He didn't have a preseason and started off injured, so it was already a wrap. He's been all over the pitch. If Saul was in form, we wouldn't get him. You're talking about 100 mil plus player, right? So what's so exciting is that we got a player now that is so good, was one of the best, and if Tuchel can get him in form, and which he's promised him, and he said it himself, that he's going to play in his right position, right? He's not going to be used as a Swiss Army knife. We got depth everywhere else. So he's going to be playing right there next to Jorginho. And then the argument, if he hits form, I'm telling you now, and I already said it, right? He's going to put Kante on bench, right? If he hits form. That's how good he's
going to put who on bench?
No way.
He said Kante. That's bold.
Jorginho on the bench.
No, not even Jorginho. Bro, we're talking about 2 of Europe's best midfielders. How's he not put him on the bench?
Guys.
I know, but in this system,
what he does though, guys, is I think you will see Kante play his least amount of league games this season.
Yes,
because he's going to be wrapped up in vibranium bubble wrap by Tuchel. Okay. He's not going to be. I don't think we're going to. If he's got even a slight, if he's not 100%, I don't think Tuchel's going to play him that much because he won't need to because you've got Sal, Kovacic, and Jorginho. So it's all. I would just get used to the word rotation.
Exactly, Andrew.
Don't think of drop. Don't think of replace like that. And also, if he does play, it allows, and he will play some games the same as Mount. It would allow Mount possibly to become more attacking. If we have Saul in there, with a Kante, with a Jorginho, whoever, do you know what I mean?
Say the quote.
I think Saul with Conte is like that's like work rate times 2. Right, because he works a lot in that midfield. It's not like a Kovacic who's more of a ball carrier and a dribbler with the ball, attacking wise and possession based. Defensively, this guy is very busy, right? And that's why we're saying is you need that work rate in our team.
Fantastic option. Are we still talking about Saul Niguez here? Yeah, is this who you're talking about right now? Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
So that is very true. What you just said there. When you look at his stats, and if you was to look at his stats before you bought him, you wouldn't buy him because he's only in the last 2 seasons. He's only had, I think, 2 goals and maybe 1 or 2 assists in 40 odd games. It's not.
I mean, Jim, the reason we have him is because of the loan option. You know.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is, if he's not being bought in to score goals or assists, he's being bought in to be a system player, to get stuck in and be involved. And I'd like
James
to see
Milner. He's James Milner, guys. That's what I mean.
That's
like,
what they can I know
you can make fun of it, but you can make fun of it all you want.
He's James Niguez.
But Milner was a solid player in the Premier League.
Yeah,
he was a rotational piece.
He's way better than
another good thing about Saul was
he's the only 6 that we've got in our team.
He's left-footed.
He's the only 6 that we've got in our team that can actually score goals outside the box. None of our 6s can do that. Like,
what Daniel's actually saying is that we brought Saul in when Mendy goes to AFCON. We'll bring Saul into goal. Yeah, I got you.
No, the thing with Saul, I've seen a lot.
I reckon he can do a good job.
I've seen a lot of people comparing to.
Hey, he's gonna be better than Kepa, his best friend.
Yeah.
There you go.
People have said that Saul, he's a Kovacic end product. That is bullshit. He's nothing like Kovacic. He's nowhere near as press resistant.
He ain't Kovacic. I don't want
nowhere near as good of a ball carrier, but he's a lot better defensively. So
who does he? Well, while I've got this up, who does he pair better with? Jorginho, Kante? What are we saying? Like, who
he's going to pair with
Jorginho?
He'll probably pair better with Jorginho.
Yeah. I think he pairs. I think he pairs with both of them, right? I think he pairs with both of them. But mainly he's in there because I think he's a similar mold to Kante than he is to Kovacic or Jorginho because of his defensive work, right? And I think we don't have a player when Kante is out of that midfield too. Kovacic doesn't do the defensive work that Kante does. Jorginho doesn't. I think he can do that at times. So he's just another nice piece to have and just rotate and switch it out. Like, okay, the Liverpool game, Jorginho was ineffective because we didn't have the ball much. And we weren't
and Firmino was on him.
Able to have the ball. So if you take him out and you have a Saul in there, and just for that game because we have 10 men and we don't have the ball, I think that works because he's just in there to do what Kante does: buzz around, work hard, win the ball, keep possession of the ball, and be good in it. But nothing explosive, nothing crazy, nothing that'll like catch your eye. He's not doing that for you. Like that Bayern goal that people saw. That Bayern goal happens once in every 50 games, guys.
Can we not get
that could have been Zuma.
If we put Thiago Silva over Christian?
If we switch formation, would we be able to get away with playing this as our midfield three? Would it work?
Yes.
Do you think?
We definitely have to try.
Or would
I don't see it on paper.
It would be Kova, but yeah.
I still would like to say Mount or
it'll be Mount.
Very defensive.
What you doing? Mount's up here, so you're saying
True.
you want Mount to be here?
It would be Mount. You're right.
If we play a 3, I'll have Mount, Kante, and Jorginho, and then someone else. Someone else up there. Because
you got Kante, 3 6s basically.
Kante is a hybrid, right? He's a 6 and a 8, right? And Jorginho, I mean, Kovacic is basically a 8 who's being forced to play as a 6. He's basically an 8.
Who? Jorginho?
No, Kova. Because even in that Real Madrid team, he never replaced Casemiro. It was always Cruz. It was always Modric, right? Yeah. So I see him as an 8 who was being forced to play as a 6. But he's really good there, so it still works.
Do you know what? I know a lot of people, like earlier we were saying if Saul plays well, who will he bench? I don't care who he benches. If he's playing to a world class level or a top class level, and he has to bench one of our midfielders, I don't care who it is.
You'll change your tune real quick if it's Jorginho, I bet.
No. If Saul outperforms Jorginho,
we can play without Jorginho.
And win games with him. Then why would I care if it helps us?
Get him
Put some respect. Put some respect on my triple winner.
I'm okay with him benching. Listen, I'm okay with him benching Kante. I want Kante to be here as longer than Essien was.
It's rotation.
Yeah, but
it's rotation.
Let me explain why I said Kante. Why I picked Kante, right? Because Andrew pinned it to he needs to be rested. But in this system, right, Kante probably doesn't play the best, right? Doesn't have the best position in this system, right? In the way we play. But Kante is that good, right? That he's such a player, and that's why he outshines. But why I say because Jorginho is hard to replace, and the biggest importance for us is playing out the back and having that possession, right? This is where that's one of Kante's not the best strengths, right?
Yeah,
that's where Saul shines more than him. But not only Saul's got better ball control, right, than Kante, he also has long balls, right, which is done for Atletico flat out, great long balls, and he also has a shot on him as well. So if we need be, right, when we're playing one of those deep games and we need one of our 6s and then Kante goes up, he's non-existent almost, right? He's just there to pass the ball. There's no threat on him. And that's why in the low block game, Kante is kind of useless unless there's a counter attack attempt on. And if a team doesn't attack, Kante is just a little bit of a passenger, right? If the team doesn't attack, right? That's why I said if you got Saul and Jorginho, right, and that flexibility of Saul to not only play in the back 5 in massive possession, right, and with Jorginho, I think we're stronger. So if a team can't get the ball off us, kind of what Cover does, but Cover doesn't give us the other areas where Saul does, and it's the fact that Saul can push up too and he has that shot on him from outside the box that no one in the team has, right? That's why I think Saul is complete player for that position and our team. And Kante is a better player in any other system, right? But it's just the way we play is the only reason I've said all that. And we're talking about a pick Saul, so I'm really hoping he gets to his best. And that's what he did. He was the most important player for Atletico. That's why they put him on such a big contract. And never want to lose him.
Yeah, I do hear you guys. There's nearly 200 people here. Please smash the like button for GNA TV. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're on our road to 2.6k, and we are 30 away from getting there as well. So please help us get there. 200 people. Let's do that. If we were to switch the formation, yeah, say Tuchel had to switch the formation and play around with it with the current players that we got. What is the next best formation that we could use?
3-5-2. I think it's going to be 3-5-2. I don't think he's going to veer away from the wing back formation with the 3 in the back. It's been so good. It's been too good.
I think what about 4-2-2-2?
I think 4-2-2-2, yeah.
Maybe 4-2-2-2 if you want to play
Tuchel loves twos. He loves twos in midfield. He doesn't like threes.
I think because you have Havertz and Mount and you have our 2 6s and you have 4 options in there, you can always. I think he can always try it.
Obviously not with Chilwell there.
But can we try that back 4 now? I don't think it's a great time to test it at this moment. I think we stick with the back 3 because it's been working there.
Who plays there? If that's
you know what I think, Jem? I think
it's Mount and Havertz.
I
think Havertz Alonso, why not, man? And Mount off the Havertz off the left, Mount off the right.
And Werner up front?
I think Havertz up front, Werner on the cam maybe.
Havertz up top.
That camera.
Okay. Havertz up top.
We're playing 2-2.
Havertz on top, and then who plays on the right?
I'll say Werner can possibly play that right if he plays for one of the behind us.
If Werner plays up top,
he needs to play like that for me. That's the way
I can't see him up front.
He has trouble playing his natural left. You're going to ask him to cut in on the right.
I mean, you can play.
Striker, man.
I was gonna say, right? Doesn't this practically look like a 4-2-4?
Basically, that's what it is.
It's 4-2. It's meant to be 4-2-2-2, but obviously they've not done it properly, have they? For whatever reason. But
this is where you can even play Saul off that left.
Ziyech maybe as well.
What it does is it gives you the tactical flexibility of making it into a 4-3-3 later in the game, or defensive.
Kunde centre back.
You drop Mount in
4-3-3.
the third midfielder, make it 4-3-3. That's what it gives you on the defensive side. So on the offensive side, it's 4-2-4, but on the defensive side, it's 4-3-3.
But it goes exactly like that.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're defending, it goes like that.
Switch like that. That works.
Yeah, so it works like that.
Take that one. Take one off that left wing. Take one. You gotta take one off that left wing.
No, but listen. When he plays there, it doesn't mean he hogs the wing. That means
exactly.
He's more of an inside forward.
Well,
it's PTSD talking. We're starting to see Werner play there.
Either. Come on, he doesn't hug the wing either when he plays off the right. So it's going to be the same.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But don't we have better players playing that wing? Maybe we can even possibly start throwing up on Ziyech.
But Matt, Pulisic wouldn't hug that wing either.
Pulisic deserves to be on the bench, man. That's all he deserves right now. Werner comes in.
They both
if you're going to play this system, you play Cho, Ziyech, Pulisic on those left and rights. That's where they're the best.
Does Cho get in his front three?
But if I'm honest with you guys, what I think
or Pulisic,
what I think he will most likely play, if he does play this, is Mount off the left and either Kovacic or Saul in that midfield 3. That's most likely what he's going to do.
Okay, I can see that. That. Going just a bit
actually good.
Overprotect.
Because he's going about it's when you look at managers, it's usually about who they really trust, right? And he doesn't trust. From what I've seen about Werner, especially this season, he doesn't trust him.
No, I'm not having that.
I don't know. I think
we'll see over the next.
Listen, it's been 2 games, man.
The thing is, he would have came on level 2.
I saw it last year. He wanted to. Last year, he wanted to bench him.
You don't like Ziyech. You don't like Pulisic. If on that basis, that's what.
Oh, he doesn't like Pulisic. I can tell you that.
Yeah, why did Werner play over Ziyech and Pulisic and Cho?
Pulisic didn't play a single preseason game, and he was the most fit.
Werner should be playing over Pulisic.
And he only played that Crystal Palace game because Ziyech was injured, and that's who he wanted to play. So
but he doesn't trust
that
pecking order hasn't changed.
Do bear in mind, guys, that Daniel has got this thing where it's 32 subs, 6 starts. So he's got to work on those numbers as well. So he's got to for 30 times. So he's going
to put that guy on the bench.
I reckon we should take him out.
Championing those numbers.
I reckon we should take on the bench. Werner in there, man. Look, we don't need another midfielder. We need attackers. So
I agree with you. I agree, but I'm just saying what I think he's going to play.
If he gets to 7 starts,
man,
then Daniel, you watch.
I'm in the mud if he gets to 7 stars. I'm in the mud.
Are you telling me, right? Are you telling me you do not want to see a Werner, Havertz, and Lukaku start?
I'm fine with that, Jim. I'm fine with that.
We'll have to test it. Yeah, definitely, 100% got to test that.
I think we'll see that this season. We will see that this season.
Yeah.
We're all
hoping
Werner can do
what the attacking three. I swear, it's going to be so much rotation.
Hey, we're all hoping that Werner can do what Martinez did for Inter Milan and Lukaku.
Can we just tell?
Slens, man.
I want to see Ziyech about feeding and Havertz and Lukaku.
Let him out of your basement.
Yeah, let him out, Slens.
Let him out of the basement.
No, I hear that. Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech, wash hands.
Can I bring up a discussion from before, which was where Callum Hudson-Odoi his best position?
No, not another trade debate.
It's not
on
so
the
much
right wing at Borussia Dortmund. That's where, man.
It's not so much a Cho debate, but I just want to understand what makes people think that because Cho plays in right wing back, it's hindering him.
Well, no, you need to ask the Cho-hos. The Cho-hos will tell you. Because apparently he's an inside. He should be playing off a striker inside, inside forward.
As a 10? I don't. Who is saying that? Like, seriously.
I want to.
Yeah, but he can't shoot.
I'm being told, right? I'm being told that he can't play right wing back because we're limiting what he wants, how he plays. But then when I ask him specifically, where should he play? They say to me, he's a right midfielder. So I don't get this thing of, all right, look, the right wing back thing annoys me because, all right, you have to defend. I get that, yeah? But everything else is going forward on the right, which is what a right midfielder would do. So why is it now that he needs to play as an inside forward, would I? Or just off forward? That's not a right midfielder, is it? For me, that's not someone that plays in the right midfield, playing behind Lukaku here, where Werner and Havertz are. You want your wing back to be. I think a wing back is more of a right midfielder than him playing here, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, Jim. That's the point. You just hit it. A right wing back is closer to what he's used to than any other front three position, and that's why we put him in the right wing back role. And that's why, I don't know if you saw, we tested Ziyech and Pulisic in the same roles because those wing back roles are closest to their main roles.
The fuck is that? 4-2-3. Yeah.
Let's go with that.
I think
that's what simply is.
The Christmas tree formation there, Jim.
Listen, I think for Cho, right? The only thing he just needs to work on, being effective in the final third when wherever he plays. It doesn't matter if you're playing again, right wing back. There are a lot of great players who had to, not a lot of great players, but I can just name one or a couple. Kimi and Bale. Bale played wing back for like 4 years, 5 years. He was left back, left wing back. He never played. Yeah, he never played as a right forward till he went to that Real Madrid team. But as a left wing back, his attacking impetus was so good, right? And of course, he was so quick that he could get back on the defensive end. But his attacking impetus was so good that you had to play him as a forward at that point, right? So for Cho, at 20, all he needs to do is just when he plays as a right wing back or wherever he plays, attack. Just produce something. If you're not gonna give the other parts of the game, the defensive end, the tactical end, working on your combination game, because his combination play isn't really good as from yet, right? If you're not gonna work on all that, then make sure your attacking impetus is just top nuts that you can play over Reece James, because Reece James currently has 1 goal and two assists, and we know defensively Reece James is solid. So it's about him. You have to do better than that. If you got into the position James got into in that Arsenal game, are you going to score that?
But you know what, Daniel, it's hard for him. It's unfair to him. It's unfair, and I think it's even unfair me saying it. I don't believe it. When he's given a chance, he's going to have to be so outstanding. It's going to be undeniable to drop in, and that's unfair to him, I think. because he's going to get limited. Yeah. He's going to get limited amounts of time, and I think that's unfair to him. But now what I'm saying is, he has to still grab. He still has to grab that chance, though. But it seems to me, if we're looking at it, and they'll probably deny it, that he has. Look at the games he had, like some of the games he had last season. I thought last season at Everton he played well. I think again away to Palace he played well, but he just then wasn't given the next game, and that's up to the manager. And I can't really like go against Tuchel or anything like that. But it just seems unfair that he's going to have to like be like a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 to go again the next game. It's very, very different standards for him, I think. We're seeing.
But Andrew, you just said, man, Pulisic has to do that as well to get game time.
Yes, that's true.
James has to do that as well to get game time.
No,
like,
I understand it, but
remember, Aspie was benching James. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like James was given a free pass, or you can just start as right wing back. Anything you do. The first 4 games at wing back was Cho. With Tuchel coming in.
As well. Yeah.
Right, and then Chilwell was benched, and Chilwell currently hasn't even played yet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's not like it's just an exclusive thing to just show that he has.
That's why everyone needs to get to him. Everyone needs to get off favorite player rubbish. Just if Tuchel you know what it should be. If there's any such thing as a Hive FC, it should be Tuchel FC.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The problem we got with our fans this day and age, and I've said it for a year.
NBA fans.
I'm going to continue saying it. We have too many fans that are player fans that they don't think about what's better for the football club. They just want their emotional player agendas to pay off and work so that they can go. I told you.
I swear, bro. This only happens on Twitter. I swear, this only happens.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I don't put Twitter spaces.
But this all this player
very rarely because it just annoys me.
I don't know if anyone brought this up because my internet had a howler as I brought that up, so I didn't hear what you guys were saying. But but like what I was trying to say before is that at right wing back, Cho plays as a winger, and people don't seem to understand it. Like when we play, when you look at our formation, we have a big block in the middle of 5. It's the 2 DMs and the 3 in the back. And then when we get the ball, when Lukaku gets the ball, our wing backs are in the winging position. So why are people on Twitter or whatever trying to tell me that, Cho as a right wing back is hindering his performance? It's like, no, he's playing a position that he's natural in.
Andrew,
he just has to defend a little more.
Not Andrew Marshall, bro. It's an excuse that people have. It's a ready-made excuse that you can give when a player you like isn't doing well. Oh, he isn't playing in his perfect spot. Listen, most players don't play in the position that they really want to play. It's just especially young players. It's just the way that shit goes. You have to break into the team, and then the manager can trust you to play you exactly where you want to play.
And you know what? Like, I'm not trying to say this as like a Cho hater or anything. I do like Callum Hudson-Odoi. I am worried about his playing time.
Problem. We all like Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I keep saying this because I've had arguments with many Cho-hos out there. Trust me. Yeah? I have no issue with Callum Hudson-Odoi, the player. My issue is that if he isn't going to be given the opportunity to progress and become the player that he needs to become at our football club, then we just need to let him go. It doesn't mean I want him to go. We just need to let him go.
But you know what's really weird is that Chelsea blocked his transfer to Borussia. Mind you, it was like last minute as hell. That's probably why.
Matt and I discussed this on his stream. I know why we did that because
I think that was more so.
We weren't going to sign Koundé. That's why. And then we can leave Aspie at right centre back and have Reece James and Cho at right wing back. That's why.
But Andrew, here's my.
Hey, can I wait? I wanted to weigh in on one of your points, Dan. Go ahead, when you brought up Bale before, right? And even that example, but that didn't even cater for what's going on too, because in that team, right, when Bale played left fullback, the right fullback wouldn't go up forward, and he had permission to go forward. That team was catered for Bale. Now it's not catered for Cho. Cho has to adapt or leave, and this goes for Ziyech and Pulisic as well. What's happening right now is that you want to play in this system, you have to adapt. You want to play in the right wing back role, right? If you can make it yours, or you can make it, second to Reece James, and we don't have to get maybe Koundé in, right? And you could do that. That's what these players need to do. And right now, we got Alonso who plays like a winger, right?
Brother,
right now, he's got the permission to go.
I just had one little caveat to what you said. They didn't play through Bale. Bale made them play that way through him because of his pace. I remember him breaking in, and he was playing left back. They weren't playing 3 at the back. It was 4 at the back, and he was just bombing forward with his pace and dribbling, and he was getting up so much that they had to switch the system in that Champions League run. Remember the AC Milan game? In all those games, Inter Milan, sorry, where he was playing left wing back and he basically kicked the ball the whole fucking field, ran through it and freaking scored, right? It was just him. It was him basically forcing. No one wants to play through a left wing back or a left back. It's just if the player is that good in that role, then you have to, you have to adjust for it. So it's not about the system being made for Cho and putting Cho in the best position to play. He just has to. Whenever he plays as a right wing back, attack and create chances.
Yeah, you can't. This is my thing with every player. Yeah, unless you're a striker, maybe you can't play. If a player can't adapt to what the manager's asking him to, you can't go out. You bend your back to play in a role or a position that suits that player to get the best out of them. If they can't adapt. Yeah, and if they can't, and if they're struggling to fit a certain system, and not just that, we're successful and it's working, but it's not working for them, then I'm sorry, that person needs to fuck off.
You could argue that same thing for Pulisic in a sense, because Pulisic for some reason can only play on the left of an attack, but when he goes on the right, he completely disappears, and I don't understand why.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Marshall. Like those 3 players are in the wrong system. See, the biggest strength that we had. And it's because Tuchel had a system and the players play the roles in it, not like some other managers can do, which make the system for the players you have, right, and to get the best out of players, right? Because maybe we would have played 4-3-3 with the players we had. No, but we're sticking to this system, and now it's up to Pulisic, Ziyech, and Cho to try adapt, and they're all struggling, right? And I can see them all leaving.
And it's time to go.
I love those players when they came in, but they have to adjust or they have to leave because they came in for their
This brings me back to my point when I said on the last stream that with the whole why Chelsea is probably saving their money in case they can't adapt. If they blow their money now and they need players for next season, then they're screwed.
Yeah, well, they've got heaps of money right now.
The other side of the coin on that one, right, is that when Tuchel wants to change it up and he wants a winger in his system, so he's not going to change the formation. He's going to change, throw a winger where right wing back or throw someone. He's going to make it so someone can play more in their position, right? And he'll throw them in there. And at times, and Ziyech has shown he can play a little bit like a 10 or a second striker, which we did last season, right? Or like where Werner plays. So these players are okay backups. But one of them will start leaving. They're going to start dropping off because they're not going to play their best football.
Yeah, I hear that. Guys, I do have to go. I mean, we've been on this stream for 2 hours. What a debate show, man. Smashed it again. That was so much fun as always. I thought it was a good time to do it just before the beginning of the season. Just to really understanding of where
international
we're at.
Breaks as well, Jim. So much better during international breaks to do these.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing. That's the other thing. When there's no football and it's like, what do you stream about? It's hard. When you're a content creator, it's hard. It's like, what can you think of? And I always thought with the debate shows that they always keep people interested, isn't it? Because there's a lot to talk about, especially with the players we brought in, how they fit in, what we're going to do, who's going to be dropped out, who we think is going to start, what's Tuchel going to do. Like, there's so much that we can talk about, and the debate shows are going to continue. So we still got a Callum Hudson-Odoi one we're going to do. We'll probably do a Vert one at some point. We'll probably do a Rusty the Clown one. We'll probably on that week we're going to do it on. So debate shows will be up and running again for us to get involved and have our thoughts, and I'm sure they'll be as heated as they were last season round as well. So make sure that we continue to
Sound against debate. Sound against
debate will come.
Better Call Saul.
So much to talk about where you're going to have so many people, disagreeing. This is what's great about football, isn't it? Because some people will think that someone's doing well or they deserve a chance. The others will think he doesn't. He needs to fuck off. He's crap. So there's always something.
I think he'll flop, to be honest. But
there you go.
I want him to do well.
Already you can see he's going to.
Why is Jorginho still playing?
I think Jorginho's going to I think he's going to be sold, to be honest, at the end of the season. But it is what it is.
200 mil.
Guys,
the Ballon d'Or winner is going to be on the bench.
Yeah.
Continue
to smash the like button. Over 150 of you still here. We had 275 people here today, which is massive on a Saturday afternoon. Massively appreciate that on GNA. Subscribe to the channel, also like it. Let's try and close to 150 likes, guys, as well. Thank you to Daniel, Andrew, Declared, Ray Stinner, Matt, Marshall. First time on here as well. Nice seeing you over here, mate. And Hassan.
Of course, man.
And always welcome on here, mate.
Marshall's a fraud.
I'm not really American.
It's Canadian.
Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you're going to do. Be safe, and we'll see you again very, very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Peace.
VIP, stay low key, like bando, bitch, oh please, yeah. Brand new whip, no keys, yeah. Get down on knees, yeah, yeah.